Welcome to Watkins Glen. It is a beautiful, peaceful destination known for sailing, fine local wines, and of course, beautiful countryside. Well, this peace and quiet is about to get shattered because it's also the location of one of the most fearsome, legendary racetracks in North America. Yes, over that hill there lies Watkins Glen International. And if you listen carefully, you can hear the sound of Italian engines revving up because it's time for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North American Series.
Motor racing runs in the blood around these parts. In the 1940s, the competition was on the public roads. By the mid-1950s, a permanent circuit had been put together, Watkins Glen International. And since then, it's played host to the biggest series in world motorsport, including Formula One, which used to have their season finale here. IndyCar, NASCAR, and of course sports cars have all played a part in shaping the history of what the locals call the Glen. This weekend, it's all about GTs, and the Lamborghini Super Trofeo cars are ready to do battle on this 3.4-mile circuit with action areas at the downhill right-hander at turn 10, the back straight chicane, the inner loop, and turn number 8, just over the rise, the right-hander that we know as the heel of the boot. Hello everybody, I'm John Hindhaugh. A little bit overcast, but the weather is good and we're ready to go racing for the second time of asking with this fabulous grid of Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo cars. Now the cars are all the same and they are very fast indeed. We grade the drivers for their experience, and that's how we split the classes up. The class identifier is in the top right-hand side of the windscreen. Yesterday in the first race, nice clean start down to the diving turn 1. Richard Antinucci getting away early and stamping his authority on proceedings. Mandatory pit stops in the middle of the race. Antinucci, driving on his own, came in, did his time stationary in the pits, and as he came out, he was still in the lead. He wouldn't be headed, taking the checkered flag and full points. Late race drama for Ashley Freiberg. A problem at the left rear, robbing her of a fine finish. Antinucci taking it from Makalea and Beretta in the Pro category in Pro-Am. Slightly tighter as they came to the checkered flag. Eduardo Piscopo bringing the 50 home in the lead. And in the LB Cup, lovely job from Ryan Hardwick, who beat the 71 of JC Perez.
Richie Antinucci has basically had what you can call a dream season so far, a clean sweep at COTA, and he won the first round here at Watkins Glen yesterday. Right now, he is on the front row of the grid, which is the place you want to be with the track conditions out there. Let's go and try and have a quick word with Richie. Well, Richie, I just said you've had a dream season so far, mate. Obviously, starting on the front row after a win yesterday is really the place to be because the track out there looks really demanding, as you just saw from the race just then.
Yeah, it looks very tricky. We have mixed conditions. It's been like that all weekend, but today especially it's been raining right around every race. So I hope that it's stable, that it stays dry, so we know all what we can predict and feel a little more comfortable. We can push a little harder, but I just want to keep my nose clean, get as many points as I can, and if we can get a fourth, let's go for it.
A lot of business to be done in the next 45 minutes or so. Good luck. Well, as everyone gets ready here on the grid, fans always ask, what's it like to get behind the wheel of one of these spectacular Lamborghinis? Well, take a look at this. Richie takes us for a lap in his race car.
Hi, I'm Richard Antinucci. I drive the car number 16, and this is a lap of Watkins Glen. So you're down the main straight, and this is the start of the lap. Up in 6th gear, hard braking at the 300 down to 3rd gear. Try and get the apex, although it's tough, it's downhill. A little bit of curb on the exit. Try and maximize your exit speed. Flat all the way through the famous S's. This is full speed going up the gears 4th to 5th. And then to 6th up here. Just trying to let the car breathe all the way up through the back straight. This is our highest speed of the track, and then braking it around the 400. use a lot of curb on the first, try and avoid the second, and I use the final one. Some people do it different. This is my style. Down here in fourth gear, all the way through, very long corner, that's called the carousel. Up to fifth, and then back to third here, another long corner. This feels like a roller coaster section. Very good on the power here. The car feels really nice in this section, and it's very fast and flowing. Braking around the 180 here, down to third. Get a very good exit, try and point it towards the uphill. Your exit is key here because you have a very long straight, the second longest of the track, and it's uphill to begin with, so your exit is key. Hard braking here into the twistiest part of the track, down to second or third gear. Some people do second, some third. A little bit of curve on the exit, up to fourth gear, back to third gear, and really diamond this one, which means square the corner, get out as straight as you can. And this is fast, hairy section, very fun. Fourth gear here, right on the limit, ride a bit of curb if you're brave enough, and then wait here, just a bit, back on the power, and this is the last corner of the lap. And fourth to fifth gear, and finish line.
Antinucci leads the Pro Point standings. 13 points his advantage over Agostini and Hinman. Piscopo and Proto, their win yesterday gives them a 12-point advantage in their category. Emmanuel Anassis and Patrick Brisebois leading in the ARMS and LB Cup. JC Perez being closed down on by Ryan Hardwick, just 4 points after Ryan's win yesterday. When we come back, it's green flag for race 2 at Watkins Glen. One Lamborghini Huracan engine sounds pretty good. Times it by 18 and the effect is pretty awesome. They're on their warm-up lap behind the Huracan safety car here at Watkins Glen. At the front of the grid, championship leader Richard Antinucci will start on the outside of the front row because capturing pole position, Trent Hinman and Riccardo Agostini. Row 2, Austin Versteeg and Ashley Freiberg. Ashley driving on her own, as is Austin. They'll still have to do their mandatory pit stops, and their pit stops just a little bit longer than the drivers who are changing behind the wheel, because it's deemed to be a bit of an advantage to stay in the car and therefore know what the conditions and the car is like. We're ready to go racing at Watkins Glen. Jeremy Shaw and Jim Roller.
The green flag, it'll be Agostini and Antinucci, and 11,000 horsepower worth of Lamborghini Huracans take the green flag. 18 of them, they go down into turn 1, and already Richard Antinucci tries to grab the top spot, but diving down underneath is Agostini, and here comes Ashley Freiberg in the number 30 car around the outside. She's going to go side by side up the hill with Antinucci. That's a fantastic start by Ashley. She's going to take over the second spot. She turned the fastest lap in the race in series round 3 on the very last lap after she had a tire issue. And so she's got something she wants to prove today, as it's she'll lead the first time into the inner loop. That's Antinucci behind her, and he's chased by the number 10 car, number 11 car, which is Steve McAleer.
Wow, excitement already. That was a great start by Richard Antinucci. It was unlike him to kind of give it up there in turn 1. I wonder whether he kind of figured that he jumped a little bit too soon off the start, because he was on the outside of the front row. He shouldn't have been leading the way towards the green flag. And I wonder whether he just let the pole-sitter go through under braking for the first corner, didn't challenge him too much, or didn't defend it too greatly, but in doing so, lost another position as well.
Good battle for 5th position. Austin Versteeg in the orange number 7 is leading the Pro-Am category. He had a great run yesterday till he lost an entire wheel assembly. He's being chased by Brandon Godovic in the number 46. That's a Pro-Am battle, and those two are battling for 5th place overall. So it's Agostini, Ashley Freiberg, Antinucci, and McAleer as your top 4 in the Pro category. Then the 2 Pro-Am cars, and the number 18 of Emmanuel Anassis. Here's another look at the start, Jeremy. Let's see if he maybe did go a little bit early.
Yeah,
he sure did.
yeah, I think
yeah, a whole lot early.
Trying to avoid getting a penalty there, and he allowed space down the inside for Riccardo Agostini to regain that front position. But Ashley Freiberg, what a great opportunity to maneuver it was by her to jump into second place. And as you said, Jim Roller, she set the fastest lap on the final lap of the race yesterday. But these guys and girls, because Pippa Manning's race as well, so I can say plural, they've got to be a little bit careful in this race. We saw yesterday, we saw several tyre failures. Also, even more oddly, we saw two wheels leaving the scene, the premises of their cars as well, which is really weird. Some sort of a hub failure, I don't know what. I haven't had a chance to get down to the paddock and find out exactly why that was. But for Brian Thenis, who was in control of the AM category until the closing stages, he was one of the guys that lost a wheel in the closing stages of yesterday's race.
Thenis is in second place in the AM category at this point in the number 17 car. Emmanuel Anassis leads the class.
Yeah, he got the jump on him at the start, didn't he? You're absolutely right. That car number 18, Emmanuel Anassis was a pro contender last year. He's managed to talk his way down to being an AM this year, but certainly he had a good battle yesterday with Brian Thenis, who's an ex Toyota Atlantic racer back in, I don't know, 15, 20 years or so ago, whenever it was. He was out of the sport for a long, long time. Came back last year, sharing the US Racetronics car with other drivers, mainly Patrick Kujala from Finland, and also I think on occasion Richard Antinucci as well. But this year going it solo, and yesterday he was super fast.
Ashton Versteeg now has set his sights. He's kind of left Godovic and now set his sights on the car in front of him, the number 11 of Stephen McAleer. McAleer, of course, is in fourth place in the pro category. Versteeg sets his sights, even though he's in the Pro-Am category, he sets his sights solely on one thing, and that's the front of this field. He's a young and up-and-coming driver, graduated from the IMSA Lights category, where he finished second in that championship, where he literally snatched victory from defeat from the jaws of victory, because he had dominated the series, but still ended up in second position. Agostini, last time, new fast lap, 148.508. Ashley Freiberg's best lap is a 148.589, and the best lap for Antinucci is a 148.656. Actually, those were their last laps, all their best laps.
Yeah, you're right about Austin Versteeg. He won 9 of the races last year, had 10 pole positions, and still managed to lose the championship. Most unfortunately, he had a great weekend right here at Watkins Glen 1 year ago. Won all 3 races, because one of the races had been held over from a previous event. We got postponed from that. So he had a stellar weekend, but unfortunately yesterday he was looking good for most of the race, and had that problem towards the end, and that dropped him right to the tail of the field.
I find it very interesting that Antinucci, who led every lap yesterday, has got his hands full today. And not just because he let the leader come by. He is, if he was as fast as he was yesterday comparative to the field, seems like he would have at least caught Ashley and would be giving her a little bit of a harder time. But right now, she is not worrying about him at all and has her sights set on Agostini, who's leading the race.
Indeed so, but I'm sure Richard Antinucci is also mindful of the fact there were tyre problems yesterday. It is hot this afternoon. There's a lot of grip from this last year resurfaced racetrack.
Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by TireRack.com, revolutionizing tire buying since 1979. And by Motor Trend On Demand. Visit MotorTrendOnDemand.com. Start your free trial today.
The opening salvos have been fired in the 4th round of the 2017 Lamborghini Super Trofeo here at the Glen. Let's get back to Jim Roller and Jeremy Shaw.
5 laps in the books now, working lap 6. On the previous lap, Richard Antinucci set the fastest lap of the race in 3rd position by 1,000th of a second over Ashley Freiberg. Last time around, however, It was Riccardo Agostini who repaid the favor. He's now gone fastest at 147.723. That's the fastest lap of the race so far. It compares to the pole position time set yesterday by Riccardo at a 146.420. So just over a second slower.
Those three drivers are all turning times within 2/10 of a second of each other quite consistently over the first 5 laps of this race. Ashley Freiberg has had a couple of very good runs in this series so far in the first 3 races, only to have some horrible luck. She ran afoul of another driver who made a mistake in front of her in Texas. She had the flat tire yesterday.
Fastest lap of yesterday's race was a 147.483 by Ashley Freiberg. And we saw a whole bunch of cars within very, very closely matched. Even JC Perez, who's brand new to the sport this season, he finished second in the LB Cup class. Those are for newcomers to the sport. But his fastest lap was a 1:48.0, which was absolutely astonishing in that it was I'm just looking at the chart here from yesterday, and it was within just over half a second, the fastest lap of the race. Absolutely remarkable.
And also we saw a great performance from the 50 car of Taylor Proto, who ended up finishing second overall and really handled pressure quite well in the late stages of the race. So he did a fantastic job. Right now, Perez has kind of picked up where he left off yesterday. Even though he finished second yesterday, those fast laps at the end of the race, he's turned into a lead here. He's 11th overall, turning some great lap times in the 150s, the low 150 flat, 150.335. So yeah, he's showing steady improvement still.
He certainly is, and he lost his lead yesterday during the pit stops. I don't think he had a spin. I'm not sure. He lost the lead during the pit stops closer in towards the end and set a stunning lap. This time around, however, Ashley Freiberg resets the fastest lap of the race, a 147.636, just a couple of tenths quicker than Riccardo Agostini in the lead. It's a good battle between the AM contender of Yuki Hirata and Taylor Proto in car number 50, trying to work his way back through the field. He qualified poorly for this race because he made a mistake in his qualifying session. The qualifying session for the Lamborghinis, it's a half an hour. First 15 minutes sets the grid for race 1 of the weekend. The second 15 minutes sets the grid for race 2. So they have to make their driver change. Then in this instance, it was Eduardo Piscopo who did the first 15 minutes, came in, handed over the car to Taylor, who then made a mistake and spun, so didn't get a really representative lap time. But he showed in the race yesterday how fast he can be. Now, though, he's going to work his way through the tail of the field. He's having trouble getting past Yuki Hirata.
Hirata, the former ski racer, that's a 71 car right in front of them, the leader in the LB Cup category. So those 3 cars there show you your LB Cup leader, Yuki Hirata, in the yellow number 55. And then the white car behind him is Taylor Proto in the 50 car. So that's the LB Cup leader. It's 3rd place in AM and 4th place in Pro-Am.
Yeah, Yuki Hirata, 24 years of age, as you say, a ranked FIM skier. He was ranked #1 in Asia 6 years in a row before he had a career-ending knee injury. Had to find something else to do, and he's kind of splits his time between Las Vegas and Monaco, although he's from Japan originally, of course, with a name like that. Where else could he be from? In Nagoya, but he discovered motor racing. He said, I found a new passion, and he's certainly pursuing that passion with all his might and doing a very fine job in that Dream Racing Motorsport entry.
Taylor Proto takes a look, going through the toe of the boot. That's a good out-braking spot, but you've got to be committed, and you've got to be a little bit further alongside the driver before you make a move like that.
Yeah,
and that spot on the race.
To his credit, he realized that, got out of it, and there was no contact between the two. It would also almost have been easier for contact to be made there. So hats off there to Taylor Proto for being patient, realizing he wasn't quite in position to make the pass, and tucking in behind Yuki Hirata. But new fastest lap last time, by the way, by Riccardo Agostini, the race leader, 147.589. This lap, a couple of tenths of a second slower, and still has Ashley Freiberg in his wheel tracks.
Last lap, 147.99 for Agostini, 147.783 for Ashley Freiberg. So yeah, that's in his wheel track.
And there is Yuki Hirata defending his position into turn 1. Moved to the inside of the racetrack, then moved back a bit to the outside. Ooh, it's a bit marginal. You're not allowed to defend. You're allowed to defend your position proactively, i.e. before somebody behind you makes a move. But once the guy behind you makes a move, you cannot change your mind, if you like, and go back and take the racing line again, which is kind of what he did there. He'll certainly get a warning before he gets a penalty. Whether that will have been enough to warrant a warning, I'm not quite sure, but certainly he'll be on the radar screen, I think, of the race in race control.
Much more of that, and he will certainly be on the radar screen. They've closed in a little bit on JC Perez. So Proto's pushing Arata along here at this point.
Yep, both of those two in the 49s last time around.
And they've both dropped their times to the 49s, so fantastic running. Austin Versteeg went purple in sector 1, so he's turning times in the 47s, so he's still trying to cut into Antinucci's lead. He's just am I reading that right? Yeah, he's 1.166 seconds behind Antinucci at this point.
Indeed, Antinucci surprisingly fallen a couple of seconds behind the two leaders. And the gap on this lap, a little bit more between the first two as well. Ricardo Agostino edging out just a little bit of breathing space over Ashley Freiberg.
Trouble for Ross Chouest, the number 3 car. 4th place in the AM category.
It's turn 10, I think.
He spent 2 years, a little smoke coming out of the back as he fires it back up. Let's see where Ross is. Looks like it's,
oops, no, turn 8.
Turn 8, yeah.
Did he get an assist there?
Yeah, he might have.
From Paul Mann, one of the LB Cup contenders.
Was it Pippa that might have gotten him? I don't know.
So Chouest, last year's LB Cup champion, will resume at the tail of the field. Meanwhile, Ricardo Agostini leads by about 1.2 seconds now over Ashley Freiberg. Still 2 seconds further back to Richard Antinucci, kind of a 16 in 3rd place. Austin Versteeg is tracking along behind Antinucci.
Pretty much in the middle of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America 4th round here at Watkins Glen International, and that means it's pit stop time. Whether you've 1 driver or 2 on your roster, you must call into the pit lane. If you've got 2 drivers, obviously you change drivers. If you've got 1 driver, you've got to be stationary in the pit lane for a mandated amount of time. And if you're a single driver, that's a little bit more than if you have to change, just because you've got an advantage of staying in the car. Jeremy?
Ricardo Agostini, then our race leader, is on to pit lane to hand over to Trent Hinman.
Hinman, a young up-and-coming superstar of the sport, just competed a 2-hour race in another category before having to jump into this Lamborghini. So he's fit and ready, hopefully. Ashley Freiberg now takes over the top spot as Alex Popov has come into the pits in the number 10 prestige entry as well. Richard Antinucci has pitted. So this time he did not wait until the last waning moment. He has come to the pits. Should be noted that Eduardo Piscopo nailed the 89 seconds. Spot on. Let's see how Antinucci does with his 92 seconds. That's 1:32.
Calling down pit lane in that change racing car number 16, Richard Antinucci.
There goes the number 1 car with Hinman out just ahead of him.
Yep, that was the car.
At 1:32. Antinucci comes out at 1:32.
Oh, well, in that case, Hinman lost a few seconds there, because that's a 2-driver car. They can make that stop in 1:29, can't they? So they gave away 3 seconds there, apparently.
It took a little while for Agostini to get out of the car. Trent was standing by waiting, and Ricardo kind of shimmying out of the car. So
now Freiberg on pit lane. That will put Austin Versteeg in car number 7 into the lead of this race. That's the kind of orangey red car for DXDT Motorsports in the lead of the motor race.
Checking tire pressures. on Ashley's car. Looks like she's had a brush with something there. She's got some white stains on her left rear, or sidewall of her left rear tire there.
Is that with Richard Antinucci at the beginning?
Yeah, it could have been. Could have very well have been.
Eduardo Piscopo out of the pit lane, just at the purple first sector in car number 50. He's trying to make up ground from the first stint of the race. Richard Antinucci has made his stop, and he too was 1 minute 32 seconds.
Which is what he should have been. He as a singleton.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, he nailed the 132.
Correct. As did Eduardo Piscopo and Alex Popow in car number 10. So Popow is ahead of Piscopo.
And Popov has changed over to Michele Beretta. Yeah, scoring just hasn't caught up to that yet.
It takes it halfway through the second stint to do that.
Yeah.
You're right.
D. Bryce Miller has come to the pits in the number 34 car.
So there's 8 cars that have not yet made their first pit stop. One of them being Pippa Mann in car number 57. That is one of the Prestige Performance machines. She's just turned her best lap of the race, 149.3.
Ashley Freiberg has gone out at 131.
So she lost.
Well, that's as a singleton, she should have been at 132.
Yeah.
So
she's going to get penalized.
She'll get dinged for that, unfortunately. Oh, man. In comes Austin Versteeg. That turns the lead over to Brandon Godovic. Steve McAleer has come to the pits in the number 11. Versteeg comes to a stop. They'll check tire pressures, clean out the radiator, give him a cold beverage. Also coming in, Brian Thenis, Steve McAleer, J.C. Perez out of the lead of the LB Cup category in the number 71. That puts Ryan Hardwick in the lead in the LB Cup category. He was our winner in series round 3. Former jet ski world champion. So pit stops are almost only 3 cars now have not made their mandatory pit stops. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out.
Yeah, they're going to do that within the next 3.5 minutes. So either this time or the next lap, they will have to make their pit stops. So that's number 46, number 18, and 2.
Pippa Mann comes to the pits. She'll change over for, she'll get out, and Deanne Van Molke will get behind the wheel. Another young, hard charger.
The Pro-Am leader is Brandon Godovic, but he does owe us his mandatory pit stop, coming down to 23 minutes to go here at Watkins Glen International. Plenty of racing left for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America. We expect close racing action in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America, and we've got it here at the Glen. Bryce Miller in the black and white number 34 car comes round the heel of the boot and right in his wheel tracks in the Pro-Am category battle. Eduardo Piscopo in the red, white and blue number 50. Car behind that is our championship leader, but he, of course, having had problems early on, is well down the field. Through the final corner and on to the front straight. Crossing the line to complete another lap. Time certain race and just under 12 minutes to go. Down to the diving first right-hander. Oh, that's a brave move. It's a bold move. And Piscopo makes contact with Bryce Miller.
I think Antinucci, or Piscopo was there, and Miller tried to close the door on him, and he got the worst of that one as Piscopo had the corner. At least he was alongside at the apex, and Bryce Miller tried to come down on top of him. And now he may lose a spot to Antinucci. It won't be for position because Antinucci's lost a lap or 2. And also Brian Thenis has gotten past Patrice Bresbois for 9th place overall and the lead in the AM class. So it's 17 from 18 now as we have another look here, Jeremy.
Yeah, he comes from a long way behind, certainly, Eduardo Piscopo. Dives it down to the inside there. So, kind of abreast there. There's a bit of a contact between the two of them. Yeah. He came from a long way back, certainly, did Eduardo Piscopo. He just chucked it down the inside line. Yeah, I'm going to have that position, he says to D. Bryce Miller. He's got a lot more experience, of course, than Bryce. I'm sure the officials will have a look at it.
Austin Versteeg has gotten by Ashley Freiberg. So Versteeg went purple in sector 3 and was able to get the pass made. The pass was actually made going into turn 8 in the heel of the boot. Well done.
Yeah, very nice pass there by Austin Versteeg. Once again, he's shown us several good passing maneuvers, hasn't he, during this weekend? He's a young talent, is Austin. He's not had much luck this season. He finished very well at Circuit of the Americas in the second race, but got thrown out for a technical infraction in post-race technical inspection. So he's had a couple of, and then with the mechanical problem yesterday, also lost some more points there. Got no points from that second race at Circuit of the Americas. So he's looking for another strong run here this weekend, and he's certainly got it this afternoon. Less than 10 minutes remaining now in this race.
Might see Brian Thienes have to make an appearance at the officials trailer after the race as well.
Oh, yeah?
He's a single driver, and he did a pit stop at a 131 as well. That should have been a 132.
Yeah, really, that's for US Racetronics. He's taken over the lead, as you were saying, Jim.
Same with JC Perez. JC Perez did a 131, single driver in the LB Cup category, currently leading in the number 71. So these results are, at the end of this race, are certainly going to be provisional for a while, aren't they?
Yes, indeed. So Trent Hinman leads then by just under 3 seconds now from Austin Versteeg. Ashley Freiberg slipping back just a little bit in third position, but still a very good run for her. So watching Brian Thienes putting the pressure there on DeBryce Miller and making the move. It was at the toe of the boot, wasn't it, down turn 7?
Yeah.
Come over the crest of the hill. That was a nice clean pass by Brian Thienes up into 8th position overall, but will he be able to maintain that position if there is any kind of a penalty for a too fast pit stop?
Also, Steve McAleer at a 128.
The fastest lap of the race, though, by Austin Versteeg. He hasn't given up on trying to track down Trent Hinman. Hinman has responded. His best lap of the race in that car, 147.114 for Trent, 146.974 for Austin Versteeg. The fastest lap last year, the track record in these cars, a 146.776. That was set last year by Stefan Wilson. Not competing this season, unfortunately. The lanky Englishman.
Less than 8 minutes to go now.
Average lap speed of 114.6 miles an hour. Yeah, average lap speed of 114.6.
That's what I said, average.
Yep. These cars are quick.
Top end in the speed trap, we're seeing speeds in the 167.7 for Versteeg, 165.3 for Hinman, Ashley Freiberg at a 165.3, 168.4 for Michele Beretta. He's got the wing laid back. 169.8 for DeBryce Miller. Haven't seen anybody get 170, I don't think. But here's Antinucci. Ooh, coming to grips with the number 46 car. Antinucci went down the inside. Todd Snyder turned in for the corner and kind of tagged the left rear of quarter panel of Antinucci. So.
Yeah, and already passed Todd Snyder now. He's Eduardo Piscopo up into 6th place, or up into 2nd place in the Pro-Am category. Just Austin Versteeg ahead of him, and he's quite a long way ahead. He's about, well, he's more than half a minute ahead of him, so he's not, Piscopo isn't going to catch Austin Versteeg for the victory in Pro-Am. I'll tell you what, Trent Hinman there, he's using every inch and the curbs and everything else, and Austin Versteeg is trying as hard as he can to keep it off the curbs and really put it, well, not except for there, but launches the car off the inside curb, turning into the inner loop. Just over a second between those two cars now, with time slipping away. They may get to the start-finish line. Will they? Might be white flag this time around. What's the final sector? 42 seconds. Just coming up into the final sector now. Yeah, I think there will be time just about for one more lap before we see the white flag, i.e. 2 laps to go.
Hinman was just a tick faster in sector 2, so now it's a 1.247 second lead. Yeah, if he gets another, if Hinman can get there and get the white flag, it's going to make it tough. 2 laps might be all Austin Versteeg needs, unless he's used up his tires.
Yeah, the exit turn 10. Austin Versteeg kept it off that curb down that corner.
He has pretty much every time.
Yeah. Very tiny drive by the youngster. Well, they're both youngsters. 21 years of age, Trent Hinman. Just 18, Austin Versteeg. Ashley Freiberg. She's an old timer, isn't she? At the age of what's Ashley now? 26.
Yeah, the old gal.
Sorry, Ashley, I couldn't resist.
Trouble for Yuki Hirata.
Oops.
That's going through the outer loop. He will shortcut. Yeah, he's pulled off onto what would be the short course, the track that the NASCAR teams run.
Who was charging on though was Michele Beretta. He'd just gone purple in sector 1. Our timing screens have gone down, which is not terribly handy. But he's running very, very quickly indeed, is Michele Beretta.
So it looks like the starter has the white flag in hand.
Yep.
There's D. Bryce Miller and Todd Snyder.
The battles are continuing all the way up and down the field. One time I don't do a lap chart, you don't have any scoring.
Sod's Law, Jeremy.
Just eyes right though to watch out for our race leaders.
There they are coming through turn 10. They look like they're a little bit closer than they were last time. Even if they aren't, I'm not going to tell you any different. Through 11. And they'll come to the white flag. So Austin Versteeg has one more lap to try and get it done.
Great piece of flagging here in the grandstand too, by the way. Great job there. White flags on the starting gantry and in the pit lane, in the main grandstand opposite the pits, but about the same sort of distance between those two leaders, about 10-12 Lamborghini car lengths as they head through the S's and onto the back straight for the final time.
About the same distance. Down the back straightaway they go. Through the bus stop, he's closed up a little bit. Austin Versteeg has gotten a little bit closer on the run down the back straightaway. So they'll head down the chute into the boot, left at the ankle, then up the toe of the boot. That'll be turn 8. Turn 7 rather. Turn 8 is the heel of the boot. They go up turn 8, turn 7, up over the rise, and down into turn 8. Nose the tail now as they come over the knoll, dive down into turn number 8. Versteeg right on the tailpipe of our late race leader, Trent Hinman. They'll come up the hill through turn 9. Does he have enough to get by? Nose to tail through turn 10. He's less than 0.2 of a second behind him now, but it looks like Hinman is going to be able to hold on. They make the hard right-hand turn all the way out to the wall, and there is the checkered flag for Trent Hinman, and oh so close for Austin Versteeg as he finishes just 0.5 of a second behind. Here comes Ashley Freiberg for third overall and second in the pro category.
Excellent drive by both of those two.
Brian Thenis will claim top spot in the AM category momentarily. Steve McAleer comes through 4th. Michele Beretta will come through in 5th. Yep, right on his tail, just 1.2 seconds behind. Then it's a three-car, three-way race for Pro-Am. Second place, Eduardo Piscopo has a big lead there for second place. Then comes D. Bryce Miller and Brandon Godovic. Richard Antinucci goes through a couple laps down. Here comes Thines. And right behind him is J.C. Perez. So that's your AM leader, Brian Thines. And J.C. Perez in the number 71. So they come through. D. Bryce Miller comes through in 7th. And victory for those two. So great performance, Jeremy, by Trent Hinman to hold off Austin Versteeg.
Yep, he wins the pro category. Austin Versteeg wins the pro AM. Brian Thines in car number 17, we believe, wins the AM category, and J.C. Perez the LB Cup, but only by about just over a second from Ryan Hardwick, yesterday's winner in car number 2.
Trent Hinman will be talking to us when we come back. A good old-fashioned grandstand finish here in the second race of the weekend for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America at Watkins Glen International. The Agostini and Hindman pairing winning out. Austin Versteeg pushing them pretty hard, particularly at the end of the contest. And finally, Ashley Freiberg gets a bit of luck on the overall podium and also second in her class. But this one belongs to Agostini and Hindman.
Obviously a huge deal to come into this, the second race of the weekend, and take it away. You left a little tight there at the end.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't want to do that on purpose either. I wasn't trying to make it exciting, but, you know, I think Ricardo and I both just pushed hard at the beginning of our stints, trying to build a gap. You know, at the end there, I think a little bit more management on these Pirelli tires was probably needed from me especially, but you know what? I knew we had one to go. I had to give it all I had. I knew Austin was coming. Kudos to him. He drove a great race, and overall, these prestige performance with Wayne Taylor Racing guys gave me a wonderful car as usual.
And of course, Lamborghinis are one of the most famous tracks in the world. That's a pretty good thing on the resume, a win here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year we were very fortunate to get a win here in the Pro-Am category. This year, I'm back with Ricardo. We're winning overall in the Pro category. It's been three tough races so far, just coming so close, but it's nice to finally have the monkey off our back and get it done.
That forceful move for the lead in Pro-Am by Eduardo Piscopo was important. He and Taylor Proto now with a 16-point lead over Godovic and Schneider. Antinucci's lead down to just 4 now. Good salvage work from him, but Agostini and Hindman are closing in. Anassis and Brisbane are joined at the top of the amateur point standings by Brian Thines. Yuki Hirata just a few points further back, and JC Perez has the slimmest of advantage in the LB Cup point standings over Ryan Hardwick, Paul Turry, just 10 points further back. Next up, it's the just over 4-mile race in what appears to be a country park. It's Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Hope you can join us and the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America drivers and teams for what I'm sure will be more great action. Thanks to our hard-working production team and to my colleagues Jim Roller and Jeremy Shaw, I'm John Hindhaugh. The Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America continues with more great sights and sounds. Bye-bye.